United Nations diplomats have agreed to meet with the GLA in Kibara City near the hydroelectric dam. The president believes the GLA cannot be trusted, and we have been placed on standby security alert.
We're live. Sat Recon online. UN negotiator in sight. Secure all sectors. Blue Eagle has arrived. Look sharp. What? It's a GLA ambush. All units move in. Blue Eagle under fire at grid 1-3 Beta. Engage! Raptor here. I've got tone. Fox 1. Flash 1. Relay.
Concentrate your fire, man.
Target eliminated. We got him trapped. Crusader 6. Surround GLA at Castanet Market. Roger that. Echo to Charlie 2. Hold your fire.
You are surrounded. Throw down your weapons and exit your vehicles.
Get off! GLA forces eliminated. All units return to base.
New construction.
General, the UN envoy.
Welcome back, General. The U.S. envoy has been killed. Avenge his death. There you go. This is a mission that's actually given me probably the most amount of trouble.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
There's a very easy way to cheese it, however. You see, the GLA don't have a base right now. And because they don't have a base, they don't have any other builders. They only start with one. And, well, if you scout it early enough and take them out, they now can't build anymore. This is actually kind of important, just because this mission is, it's pretty annoying. How best to put it? You don't have the luxuries of later missions, and we'll get to that in a later episode. You also just have limitations on the position of your starting base versus where you actually need to go. We can see on the map currently that there is a giant bridge, and that seems to be the only way to get across. This is eventually going to be completely true. So, if you don't really build up your base properly, you kind of will lose. It's not really any other way to put it. So the best way I've found to play this level is essentially to cheese it as hard as possible. I had done several attempts where I tried with Comanches. It didn't really work this time around. We'll see why. Spoilers, it involves a lot of range from quad cannons, and why they're bastards when you're playing against them. But really what I'm going to be doing is essentially clearing the map as much as I can, taking over the enemy's income area, so their supply area, and then after I've taken that over and kind of drained it of a lot, build a base there and supplement my forces.
Good area.
The justification is that by the time you destroy everything on this side of the map, you're given some dozers, some reinforcements, and you're told that you need to start your base here and essentially take the fight to the rest of the GLA forces. But again, the problem is that you happen to not have as many defenses, and GLA gets hyper aggressive, and they don't really have any sort of limitations on their budget or income.
I know my way around.
This means that you're always going to be at a disadvantage. And while the US forces can be better in terms of technology or the abilities that they can have and so on, that doesn't necessarily mean you can get away from being swamped by just hordes and hordes of units. Now I'm just trying to be a little fancy by having my snipers in foliage, just it makes it a little less obvious when they move. Although, I'm fighting against AI, so I don't think that really matters. Now, it's technically possible to never really build a base on the eastern side. As long as you leave enough forces there to begin with, you should be fine. Just because you already have your Chinook helicopters, and they don't really care if there's a bridge to and from a resource point. Again, though, because there's an actual limitation on, well, where you can have your units and stuff, and like how your base is going to be built and so on, you're always at a disadvantage.
I'll show them.
And sadly, this cutscene does not prevent my Comanches from not shooting, or prevents them, whatever.
General, our main base is now cut off from the GLA. I have arranged for Chinooks to bring in dozers. You must try to establish a new base and destroy the GLA before they can commit more atrocities. Our new objective is located here, on the high ground next to the dam. The base is ringed with tunnel networks and stinger sites. With both land and air routes covered, you'll need to fight smart to break through.
On your command.
So you essentially have to rebuild your base. Because you're rebuilding your base, you don't have any of the protections of your previous base. You have to spend a lot of money to get a new war factory. You have to spend money to get a new barracks, and so on and so forth. So it just ends up being a really big drain on your resources. And when you're fighting against a faction with rocket buggies that are very long range and will always cause you trouble, it just becomes really annoying and a little just too difficult to fight against on Brutal.
Army's elite. Exploiting targets.
Crusader tank response.
Also, I'm not really noticing it, but there's a unit on the left, and I'm pretty sure it's taking out all my Comanches.
Frequencies open.
There's just a quad cannon that shoots across the entire map, and boy, I was frustrated when I saw this.
Any more
Cruise missiles
projects?
ready. Flight systems activated.
Always prepared. Providing fire support. Ready for action. Search and destroy. What's the story? Bring on the
Unit
scaffolding.
lost.
Yeah. Army's elite.
On your command.
Unit lost.
Crusader tank responding.
Tomahawk systems online.
Heavy armor ready for action.
Missile guidance set.
The best plan of action I've found is simply to
What up?
build up a little bit of a front, try to delay them from doing any sort of damage or attacking from the front, while attacking them from the flanks.
Heavy armor ready for action.
It's going to cost quite a bit of money, just because you will be losing a lot of drones in the process, and at a certain point you just have so many vehicles that the Tomahawk missiles can't really get around, the range just becomes annoying, so on.
Crusader tank responding.
Tomahawk systems online.
How about it?
Unit lost.
All units, target the suicide bombers.
Armor detail reporting.
And for those who are curious, yes, I do have Pathfinders in the Humvees because
Warning.
why not?
Storm detected.
Armor detail reporting.
Unit lost.
Crusader tank responding. Systems online. Heavy armor ready for action. This'll wake them up. Armor detail reporting. How about a show of force? Light them up. Heavy armor ready for action. Armor detail reporting.
Unit lost.
How about a show of force? Let's squeeze. Counter back. Armor detail reporting.
It's always a little dangerous having Humvees that are full of units anywhere in the battlefield. And if you don't feel confident being able to micromanage them, you're probably best unloading them, unlike what I'm doing.
Anywhere you say, sir. This'll wake them up.
Always prepared. What's the story? Sounds good. Bring on the scaffolding. Locked in. On the job.
Crusader tank responding. How about a show of force? Systems online.
Unit lost.
Armor detail reporting.
Ready for action. Army's elite.
We've actually, I don't think I've ever really mentioned the hijacker. The hijacker, he can run up to a unit and steal it. It's not really something I've ever seen used.
Clearing terrain.
Unit lost.
It's handy if you want to steal a construction dozer, I suppose, but I don't know. There's not really much point to it.
Detail reporting. Tomahawk systems online. Crusader tank responding. Heavy armor ready for action. Tomahawk launcher armed and ready. On your command. Heavy armor ready for action. Tomahawk systems online.
The only thing that's really left is taking out any of the production, which they still manage to just pump out either terrorists or rocket soldiers and so on.
Lost.
Reporting. Blow them wide open. Cruise missiles ready.
You can also see just how many Stinger shots are going out and taking out all of my essential drones.
Armor detail reporting. Standing by for coordinates. Arming cruise Armor missile. Detail reporting. Delivering ordnance. Crusader tank responding. How about a show of force? Armor detail reporting. Crusader tank responding. Heavy armor ready for action. Tomahawk systems online. How about a show of force? Clearing terrain.
Nice
Heavy
shot.
armor ready for action. Anywhere you say, sir.
I'm not sure if I've ever bothered checking the wiki for it, but I kind of don't assume that the AI losing buildings costs them any money. It'd be interesting to know, though, because sometimes they just tend to throw down units or buildings. Also, I guess I should mention there's a detention center that the U.S. can build. It's like only in this mission as well. You can't find it in any of the other campaign missions, and it's very out of place and in terrible taste. So don't build it or use it.
You are victorious.
It just gives you line of sight on everybody for like every 4 minutes.